I'm Justin Doucet, CEO of PowerWave. Thank you and welcome to our series where we want to share what inspiring leaders are doing to create the future now. Today I'm with David Arsenault, CEO of Effenco, a very cool company that makes something impossible. They're making heavy transportation more energy efficient. Hi, David.
Thanks for having me. Hi, Justin.
So what do you think the future is now? Why do you work in such a crazy space to try to make the future now?
Well, I've always believed in data and in the form that data is always as the answer about what you're looking for. And I think that being in an industry which is very rigid, if I can say, conservative, it's difficult for me to ask them to move to do something else. We're in a special situation where everybody was forced to move and do something else. So I think it's an extreme opportunity. It's a super opportunity that we must use and we must reorient, if I can say, or we must fasten the future based on this opportunity.
If you have so much hope about the future, maybe it's because you also believe that there are solutions out there. So you have the problem that we have to address, but we have this crisis that kind of triggers everything. But the reason why there's so much hope is because technology is there and you have solutions for that.
Yeah, well, there's many opinion on that. I'm in the part of people who believes that technology is part of the solution. The company name Effenco, it stands for energy efficiency. So I think the efficiency is really the key. Reduce the use to do a certain amount of work. The technology is, I believe, is part of the solution, or it's the key solution. We just have to make sure that it's not just creating another problem.
Yeah, a lot of people focus on storage, but it's also important to focus on usage. Like, how do you use the energy?
Yeah, we really, when we design our product, we went the other way around. We look at the potential where there was energy used, but no, how could I say, effective work that was done. And based on this potential, we kind of came up with different architecture until we knew we reached that potential, instead of designing something and seeing how it performed. So to me, the end game is really to reduce consumption at the source.
And what do you think we can do together as a whole, as a society, to contribute making the economy of the future? How can we move there and how can we get there quickly?
Well, I cannot judge my customers in a way because they're mostly private operators and they just want to succeed in what they're doing, and their metric right now is to be the lowest bidder when they bid on municipal contract. What I can say though is that in some area in Europe, in Paris especially, I had a customer who won a contract really based on our technology, because over there greenhouse gas reduction was also included and there were points awarded for that. So in a way, it was the government's or the city's way to try to come up with the value or the impact of GHG emissions on price, ultimately on their cost. So by doing so, they allow technology such as mine to be more competitive and to actually reduce greenhouse gas emissions. So to me, the best way will be for government to include a way to factor in the GHG emission in their contracts or in their regulations, so that we can keep this system where we focus on the lowest bidder, but with greenhouse gas emission associated to it.
Yeah, mainly you're saying that we can't expect to have a future with the same metrics that we had in the past. Like it's kind of crazy to think that we'll be able to get into something different if we're measuring the way we do business the same way we did in the past, and that kind of prevents us from moving in the future.
Exactly, it will just end up at the same solution because we'll keep optimizing the same equation, if I can say it this way, in a geek way. But for sure, we need to bring metrics, and some of those metrics needs to be associated to greenhouse gas emission. It's like if everybody has to come together to measure the impact and then try to come up with a solution. But I think this will definitely bring us closer to that goal.
And what do you think about this argument that if we're moving into the future, then there's going to be massive amount of jobs that are going to be lost, or people are going to lose their jobs? They're going to, a pipe welder that's welding a pipeline is going to end up having no more job because there's no more oil to pump in the pipeline. What do you think about that? Like, what about the job mobility, or Is that part of the future as well? How do you think this
Well,
is?
I think people have skills, and if I think engineers, they solve problems. There's other problems that can be solved. Me, when I left university, I chose the biggest problem, which was climate change, and I tried to solve it. There's plenty of job there, and again, I believe in the free market. So to me, it's not like if we're doing something just for the sake of hugging a tree. I think there's real economical impact on greenhouse gas or climate change. And by reducing the effect of climate change, we're actually solving a real problem, which is using the forest, for a good use.
Yeah, and ultimately, a car designer can work at Effenco and design a better energy storage or energy use system on a car or a truck. Like, I mean, it's mobile from one industry from another.
Exactly, and we had employees that moved from good job in the military industry, and they decided to join us also based on principles for sure, values, but also on sustainability, because they saw that this job was probably more sustainable, than another job, which is has a different fate.
Right.
And we're always looking for talent. So if people are interested, please raise your hand.
Well, thank you so much, David, for sharing your vision, and thanks to our viewer for being with us today. If you like this interview, please share and stay with us for more inspiring conversations with leaders making the future now.